Hello and welcome to Digital Assets class. First off, let me say I am not a financial advisor. These videos are for educational and entertainment purposes only. I encourage everyone to do their own research and never invest more than you can afford to lose. So it's been a while since I've done a video, guys. Had to take a little break, handle some business. Things got a little crazy. Ended up my car went down for a little bit, had to get that fixed, and then I ended up getting another vehicle. So I'm back, and there is so much that's been going on in the digital asset world. It's just crazy. But the first thing I want to cover is this JP Morgan deal. They've decided to launch their own digital asset. I know everybody's been talking about it. It's been all the rave on Twitter, everything. But JP Morgan is rolling out its first U.S. bank-backed cryptocurrency to transform payments business. Now, this, I guess, would, for them is their answer to decentralized digital assets. They're true enough, their digital coin will be fast. It'll be able to transfer value from one location to another, but they're really dealing with more of a closed system here. It's not an open, decentralized system like XRP and other digital assets out there that don't have anyone holding the keys to the switch or holding the keys to the blockchain. These people are scared and running for their lives because they want to maintain the same system that they've always had, which is them being in total control. And this coin is pinned directly with the US dollar. So if anything were to happen with the US dollar, say the US dollar was to tank, this coin would tank. This coin would be worthless the next day if the US dollar was to tank. So why would people or why would countries want to be basically in the same old system? It's just faster. It's not transparent because it's in a closed system, so it doesn't have any of the benefits of, say, an XRP. So why would countries and financial institutions across the world want to be a part of this? I mean, for the most part, this is going to be their own little way to transfer money. I mean, it's saying that they do close to $6 trillion. They move $6 trillion around the world every day for corporations in this massive wholesale payments business. So this would definitely help them out. It will definitely save them money. But what is it going to do for the rest of the world? That's the big question. And Brad Garlinghouse yesterday tweeted out, he says, as predicted, banks are changing their tune on crypto, but this JP Morgan project misses the point. Introducing a closed network today is like launching AOL after Netscape's IPO. 2 years later, the bank coins still aren't the answer. So Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, has come out and basically saying the same thing. I mean, it was only a matter of time. These people have to try to protect the institution that they set in place. I mean, when they set up the Federal Reserve and, basically took away the gold standard, they don't want to lose that. They don't want to lose the keys to the car. If they've got control over everything, then they can manipulate and do whatever they want to do. Just like they do now with the current financial system that we have. They manipulate this system and do whatever they want to do in order to make sure that their pockets are fat. They could care less about the little man. And actually, they even talked about the fact that this coin is not even going to be available to the general public. It's not going to even be a retail coin. It's going to be for corporations and large financial institutions that they deal with. Another thing that Brad Garlinghouse did, and I pulled this up on the Daily Hodl 2 years ago, actually 3 years now, back in 2016, Brad Garlinghouse basically put out a op-ed, and he talked about, it's basically the title of this article is Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says XRP will beat any bank-backed crypto, which is basically what JP Morgan is putting out. So this article basically says today JP Morgan Chase became the biggest U.S. bank to announce it will issue its own cryptocurrency, but it's far from the first. So, everybody's been saying, JP Morgan is the first U.S. bank to issue its own crypto. But in actuality, back in 2016, four of the world's biggest banks revealed plans to launch Utility Settlement Coin, or USC, a digital asset designed to streamline cross-border transactions, boosting speed and lowering fees. UBS introduced the idea alongside Deutsche Bank, Santander, and BNY Mellon. In addition, NEX, Barclays, CIBC, Credit Suisse, HSBC, MUFG, and State Street are now on board. A test phase was set to launch last year, but few details on the coin's development have been revealed since mid-2018. So, according to Brad Garlinghouse, bank-backed digital assets are an unrealistic and deeply misguided solution for the industry. When the utility settlement coin was announced, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse penned an op-ed called "The Case Against Bank Coin," outlining why he believes bank-backed cryptocurrencies are doomed to fail. So this is just a little bit of an excerpt from that article. A bank-issued digital asset can only really efficiently settle between the banks who issued it. Then, two scenarios can play out. Scenario one, all banks around the world put aside competitive and geopolitical differences, adopt the same digital asset, agree on its rules, and harmoniously govern its usage. Fat chance. Scenario two, the more likely scenario, banks not in the issuing group issue their own digital assets with their own set of rules and governance. We're kind of seeing this already, as the FT points out, with Citi Coin and Goldman Sachs SETL coin. The result would be an even more fragmented currency landscape than what we have today. If banks and different digital asset groups want to settle trades with one another, they'll have to make markets between their unique digital assets or trade between their digital assets in a common fiat currency. What a mess. The second big problem with the utility settlement coin is it seems it'll be backed by a basket of currencies. Once backed by cash, it's no longer an asset, it's a liability. Trading liabilities then ultimately requires moving cash around borders, recreating today's system, but adding more friction. According to Garlinghouse, the independent digital assets gives banks the best shot at truly bringing payment systems into the modern era, and he believes XRP is the digital asset that will make this happen. So, with all that being said, basically, what this article is saying and what Brad is saying here is that you really can't have a bank-owned coin, because if you do, then you're basically in the same situation that you are now. You're just creating more friction, and you're having to try to make all these different countries and banks and stuff. They have to agree on all this different stuff. Whereas XRP, which is outside of the banks, that is just used as a cross-border settlement tool, and it's independent of any banks or whatever. It's got its own value. Then that is the way you want to go. That is open, transparent, fast, and is not controlled by any particular banking system or their rules. So, say Bank of America can't say, hey, our terms of agreement are this in order for you to use this coin, in order for you to use our coin. Just like JP Morgan is going to have. They're going to have their own terms and conditions, their own rules and governance as far as what it takes to be able to use their coin. And these other companies would have to agree to that. These other banks and other countries would have to agree to those terms and conditions in order to use the coin. Whereas XRP is basically available for anybody that wants to use it, and no governance or whatever has to be put in place because it's not tied to any particular bank's ideology or geopolitical framework. So for those of us that's, it's great that these banks are finally admitting that, hey, digital assets are the way to go. They're just trying to save their own system of how they've been doing things, which is too late for that now. It's too much money going into it. There's too many other countries involved. These different countries are signing on with XRP because they don't want to be tied to the US dollar. They don't want the US dollar to be the reference for all currency around the world anymore. So why would they sign on to a bank that's using a coin that's tied to the US dollar? It doesn't make any sense. So for anybody that's investing, the price of XRP is still pretty low. I would say still at this point it's time to grab as much as you can if possible. If not, just hold what you have, because this is not the JP Morgan coin is not going to be the way to go. Thank you guys for listening. Look forward to sharing more videos with you guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.